Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun centre and ranges. We have got a real variety performance from Rich Saunders in this week's episode. He's been putting a selection of targets from Tom's Targets to the test, but before that he's out on an extended hunting session targeting wood pigeons, feral pigeons and grey squirrels.
I don't shoot this copse very often because it doesn't have a huge squirrel population, but every once in a while the numbers seem to explode for some reason. Now, as you know, grey squirrels cause an awful lot of damage to woodland habitat, mainly by stripping bark from trees. Not that that's much of an issue here because the trees aren't really managed, but they also have a very negative impact on indigenous woodland species. And more specifically, right here, the copse is next to my fruit farm permission, and the squirrels have acquired a taste for the strawberries. There's also some tenant cottages on the estate, and in the past we've had problems with squirrels getting to the roof space and nesting there, chewing wires and pipes and what have you. So when the numbers build up, the estate manager asked me to come along and knock them back a little bit. Pigeons and corvids also like the strawberries. They tend to fly into the trees on the edge of the copse, so I put some trigger sticks in place in the hide so that if they flight in, then I don't have to move the tripod. I can just rest the rifle on the trigger sticks if a shot presents itself, and hopefully I'll be pointing in the right direction. The pigeons are going mad for the buds and the blossom on the blueberry plants right now, so with a bit of luck I might get a shot at one of them sometime today. Well, I didn't have to wait too long for that one. He definitely wanted his breakfast. Nice straightforward shot right at the base of the tree. Well, that's another one in quick succession. That one definitely knew that I was here because he froze on the side of the tree and he looked directly at me. At times it's been quite bright this morning, and whether he caught a glint off of the rifle or he saw me moving behind the hide, I don't know, but it didn't really matter because he just froze in perfect silhouette on the side of the tree, and that was his lot. Well, it's gone really quiet now after quite a hectic start, so it's a good opportunity to talk you through the gear that I'm using. The rifle is a Weihrauch HW100 X. It's a 12 foot-pound 177 rifle, and it's the laminate stock sporter version. Now, if you thought that the original HW100 was a good rifle, and it really is, then you really need to take a look at one of these if you can. They've done a really good job of not mucking about with the stuff on the original rifle that was really good, like the side lever and the magazine, and instead they've focused on the things that could be improved. There's a new air cylinder on it, for example, and a new regulator. and that increases the shot count by almost double, up to about 250 shots from a 250 bar fill. And it also has this adjustable cheek piece on the stock as well. Now I'm using JTS Dead Center takedown pellets. They're 10.4 grain 177 pellets, so a little bit heavier than normal, so they really hit with a punch. They are pellet on pellet at 20 meters and 30 meters, and at 40 meters it's just a single ragged hole group as well. On top, held on with sports match mounts, of course, I wouldn't use anything else, is the new Hikmicro Alpex Pro A50 PL. It's a digital day-night scope. Now I've been using the Alpex 4K Lite for quite some time. It's an incredible scope, and it's designed primarily for airgun and maybe rimfire use as well. Now this new scope, the A50 PL, is ideal on air rifles too, but the quality in terms of the sight picture from a really massive 4512 by 2512 12 megapixel sensor in both daylight and at night is incredible. So I think it's going to appeal also to FAC airgun users as well as rimfire and centerfire as well. Now, like other Hikmicro scopes, it has a laser rangefinder and a ballistic calculator, and the other feature that I like is that the parallax adjustment of the focus is a side wheel like you would have on a traditional good quality glass scope, instead of it being a collar on the front here. And also the magnification ring is like that on a scope as well. It's a ring back here with a throw lever, which is really, really good. Right then, back to the squirrels. Quite a wait for that one, but when he did eventually turn up, he went straight to the feeder quite confidently. Now, ordinarily I like to leave a nice gap underneath the feeder so that I can see squirrels when they fall on the floor to make sure they're properly dead. I can't bring myself to trample on those lovely bluebells, but I'm pretty certain that one is a goner though. Well, I'm really pleased with that shot, not least because the plan to keep my trigger sticks in the hide with me to the side really paid off there. I've zeroed the HW100 X and the Alpex Pro to around about 20 meters, the distance between the hide and the feeder, And the Alpex Pro's laser rangefinder ballistic calculator is really easy to use. It's literally just a press of the button on the bottom left here, and then the ballistic calculator works out the hold off for you. So the rangefinder indicated around about 24 meters, a little bit further than my zero, and the ballistic calculator gave it just a light touch of holdover. And I aimed at the pigeon's head, and I don't know if the audio picked it up, but it really hit with a crack. Hit exactly where I aimed, and the pigeon's gone down as dead as a dead pigeon can be. And to be honest, there's such a nuisance on the fruit crop and the blueberry crop right now. Every little helps. Well, that one was a long time coming. Oh, I know, more than an hour certainly, good time. And I just saw some movement in amongst the bluebells, and I spotted the squirrel. I saw his tail, and then he jumped up onto the tree that my trail camera's on and froze there, looked at me and gave me a really clear shot, and that was his lot. It's got really quiet here, to be perfectly honest, so I'm going to collect those squirrels and those two pigeons. Now the HW100 X has performed superbly well, it really has. Incredibly accurate and lovely to shoot. I was a big fan of the original HW100, and I was a bit sceptical as how it could be improved, but I was wrong. They absolutely have improved upon it. The Hikmicro Alpex Pro A50 PL, you know, the sight picture through it in daylight is just incredible. It really is. It's really crisp, lots of really good colour as well, and I hope that comes out on the footage. But I am aware, of course, that it is a day and night scope, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to one of my permissions this evening and hopefully deal with a few feral pigeons in the dark. Now the owner has asked me to not show too much of the farm. It's quite a new permission for me, so you won't see the usual kind of wandering around, but hopefully I'll get a few feral pigeons on the scope camera to show you how the Alpex Pro works in the dark. Now there's lots of feral pigeons down here, and thanks to the change in the general license at the start of the year, you can use infrared technology to shoot them. They lifted the ban on using artificial light to target feral pigeons. Now the pigeons down here, there's an awful lot of them. I've had a little look around. There are a few that I can see through the thermal, but I'm going to wait till it gets properly dark and they come into roost before I start. And they cause all the usual problems associated with feral pigeons. They defecate everywhere, so they're defecating on all the farm equipment, in the cattle feed, in the drinking troughs as well, and that obviously is a disease risk for the cattle and also for the farm workers too. Well, we've only been here 20 minutes or so and shot an awful lot of ferals already. It's quite a large shed, this one, and what's happening is when we shoot one, they're all flying down the other end of the shed, and because they're reluctant to take up the roost, they're just moving around inside the same shed. So hopefully get a few more. Well, that's been a really manic hour and a half. Lots of feral pigeons in here, lots of them on the ground now. It's been a long day as well. Those squirrels and woodpigeon this morning, and the ferals tonight. But I'm glad I managed to show you the Hikmicro Alpex A50 PL in night mode as well as during the day, and it really is an impressive scope. Very, very clear. The rifle has been great too. You know, barely missed a shot, to be honest. I'm looking forward to putting this scope on an FAC rifle and taking out, pushing the distance out a little bit further to see what it's like at longer distance. But that's for another day. And I've got loads of pigeons to pick up now. So thanks very much for watching.
Don't forget to give us a follow on the Airgun Extra Facebook page. We use it to keep you up to date with everything we're up to, from reviews and hunting articles on airgunextra.com right through to our video and podcast uploads. Right then, next up we've got a great selection of targets from Tom's Targets.
Down here at Reading Air Target Shooting Club, we've got 14 lanes out to 53 metres. And whilst our members like shooting at paper targets, few can resist the challenge, the fun and the informal competition of knockdown or reactive targets. We've got plenty of them down here, and they really take a pounding with literally thousands of pellets shot at them every single week. Now we've just taken delivery of a whole batch of new targets from Tom's Targets, and as you can see they've been out on the range and the members have really been putting them through their paces. Tom's Targets makes a whole range of sub 12 foot-pound air rifle targets using 3mm mild steel. They make targets for FAC and rimfire using 6mm Hardox 450 steel plate, and if centerfire is your thing, they make targets using 10mm Hardox 500 plate, which is rated to take up to 50 caliber. Not that we have many air gunners down here shooting 50 cal air rifles. They come with minimal assembly. With the most basic of tools, you're literally talking about a spanner, and they're also unpainted. so that you can choose the colour scheme that you want to. It's just a case of using a rattle can, a little bit of primer, so that you can choose whatever colour scheme you want, and then touching them up to refresh them takes just a few minutes. Now, in addition to reactive targets, Tom's Targets makes a range of other products, including thermal stickers that make zeroing a thermal scope a lot easier. They make gongs and animal stands, torso and bell targets as well, and they even make pellet traps and squirrel feeders too. They're all made in the UK, and the quality of the materials and the workmanship really is second to none. And more than that, delivery is free too. Now, as I said before, they all require a little bit of assembly, nothing too challenging, and while some of them are freestanding, others have little holes on the stands that you can put a peg through to peg them to the ground, or screw them into a log of wood or something like that. And we'll get round to doing that down here as well. So I've rescued the targets from the range where they've been shot at all day today, which is why they look a little bit tatty, but as I said before, 5 minutes on a spray can and they'll be looking brand new once again. The first one to talk about is the Resetting 4 Zombie, which is clearly designed to get you ready for the zombie apocalypse. It's made from 3mm mild steel, so it's designed for sub 12 foot-pound air rifle use, and it's priced at $44.95. Now, it measures about 470mm long by 330mm high, and you get these 4 zombies, and obviously the idea is to hit the zombie, knock it down, and then hit the reset gong to reset the zombie at the top. Now, the zombies themselves are about 100mm high by 40mm wide, and the reset gongs are 40mm. Pulling a piece of string to reset a target would be a nightmare for someone like this. You know, we've got dozens and dozens of targets out on the range, and if everyone was pulling a piece of string, we'd soon get into a massive knot. And also, people go out at the end of each hour to refresh their paper targets, so you just end up in a proper muddle. So resettable targets are the answer. Now, Tom's Targets makes plenty of them, and we've got 3 here. We've got a cowboy, another zombie, a pigeon, and I believe they also make a rabbit as well. They're intended for sub 12 foot-pound airgun use, so again they're made from mild steel, 3mm mild steel, and they cost £29.95 each. Each one measures about 310mm high by about 160mm wide, although the pigeon is obviously a little bit bigger than that. And there are a couple of holes at the back here in the stand for you to peg them into the ground or screw them into a log or something like that. And they do require just a little bit of assembly. You basically have a couple of nuts down here that you have to screw on the stand at the back of them. It takes just a few minutes. And obviously the idea is you hit the target at the top, which is a smaller 20mm kill zone, and then you reset the targets by hitting the larger 25mm kill zone at the top to reset the target again. Next, we have some targets that are intended for FAC air rifle and rimfire use. Now, they're made from 6mm thick Hardox 450 steel plate, so they're really tough. You don't need any tools to put them together, but one thing to be aware of is that if you lift this up, then the legs will fall off, which can get quite annoying. But the advantage of that is it means that you can move the legs in or out, backwards and forwards, to make sure that the targets are nice and level on uneven ground. The other observation I make is that there's no kind of retaining mechanism on the end of the bar up here, and what we'll probably do down at the club is we'll put some Jubilee clips or even cable ties on there, to be honest, just to hold everything in place. The first target to talk about is the spinning NRA target, which is priced at £99.95, which, when you consider just the amount of raw materials, to be honest, is really good value for money. There are 4 targets. There's a ram, a turkey, a pig and a chicken, and they graduate from 70mm right down to 40mm. It's probably a target that you'll want to put out at longer distance, obviously being FAC air rifle and rimfire use. But if you really want a challenge, or you want to get something a little bit closer, this second target, hopefully you can see it behind, it's exactly the same construction as the spinning NRA target, and is priced the same as well. it just has these smaller targets here, so you've got 4 paddles instead of the animals, and they graduate from a full inch right the way down to this smallest one here, which is just a quarter of an inch. And obviously thicker plate. With a sub 12 foot-pound air rifle, they're not going to spin round so much, but with an FAC air rifle or rimfire, they will spin right round 360 degrees. We've got lots of Tom's targets here at Reading Air Target Shooting Club, and in a minute I shall be giving these another spray of paint, and they'll be going back out on the range in time for next week as well. The materials really are genuinely second to none in terms of their quality, and the workmanship is absolutely first rate. As a result, Tom's targets are as tough as old boots, and they will last for years and years and years. We've got some out on the range here that have had tens of thousands of pellets shot at them, and they're still going strong. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks very much for watching. Now, if you'd like more information on these targets and all the other products that Tom's Targets produces, the best thing to do is to check out their website, tomstargets.co.uk.
The Great British Shooting Show hits the NEC Birmingham from the 12th to the 14th of February 2027, the UK's biggest and best shooting event. Tickets coming soon.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for in this week's episode, but as ever, there is much more to come. Thanks again to Crackshot. There is a link to their website in the show description, and thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. As I said, there's much more coming very soon. Until then, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.